What's going on, guilty guys and gals? Welcome back to British, the Ace Attorney game. Why is it so quiet? Okay, now I can hear it. Hello, it is me, the maid who is probably evil. Not the Garadeb's room. We're going to Mr. Natsume's room. We're going to meet Herlock Sholmes. Oh dear. Aw, a kitty. Oh no, not a kitty. Why is the window bricked up? Okay. Well, just look at this place. And smell it. Ugh, it's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. At least I hope. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all of my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here too. It's not fair. She moved when he said that. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So, this is where Mr. Natsume lives. He's only been living here for a while, right? So that had to be bricked up before he got here. Right? By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? He's the cat. No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garydeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. He's gonna like pop out of a pile of books. Where is he? Trying to see if I can spot him in here. He's gonna be behind this pile of books, probably. Let's check the window. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although, all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on a fit of whimsy. Sure, I guess, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes this place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. What's on the shelf? Oh, I can't look at it. Fine. I'm sure it's not important. Like this. That looks like it controls, like, the electricity for the entire place. Probably not important that it's, like, buried in books. This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a slot for inserting coins here, too. Coins? Is it like a paper heater? I believe that's a gas meter, Mr. Naruhodo. A gas meter? Yes, it seems there's piped gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter. So, if we were to put a coin in the slot... That would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for a whole night. So if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold? That's right. As would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes. Brr, London's a scary place. Yeah, no kidding. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it makes sense for this time period. It's not like they can, like, have centralized stuff. Anyway. Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home! It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. They are called lucky cats. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far then, is it? You mustn't say such things! I didn't say a word! Why are my eyes such a giveaway? She's like, it'll bring him lots of luck. And then he just, like, looks off into the corner like he's rolling his eyes, and she's like, oh, stop it! Books. Look at all these books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling.
They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty.
With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you?
No, what a dreamy idea.
A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again.
So reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us.
I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Great. All right. Kettle. Nope. Cattle. Yes. Well, not. You know what I mean.
That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat? But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books.
Your books. Yes. Mr. Natsume's name is on it, look. And the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m.
That's the day of...
that's the day of the incident. She's gotta stop, reacting to stuff that I'm not saying.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
Okay. Are we gonna go there and be like, you saw this man? Alright, let's check on the cat. Oh. Hey, get back here. No. Oh.
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away?
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mickey, wasn't it? Okay. Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
Well, you were sailing here for so much longer. I think it's fair. Oh, he's just there now. Look at all those books. I thought the candle was something else because I saw the reticle change. My bad. Up. Alright, Mr. Sholmes. Bang.
Ah! Look, Mr. Naruhodo!
Aha! There he is! Where did he appear from?
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes!
Oh my. Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes! We were together on the SS Buria.
Ah, yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course. The case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh.
Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least.
What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr...
Oh, no, my dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. Oh my. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to the crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short of an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls that can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but when I do, I drink... What? I don't remember what brand of alcohol that commercial is from. Whatever. He means Iris, I suppose.
Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should only be too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Okay. The dingy room. We know this is to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Soto, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Sasada-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. A man seen fleeing? There were a number of books scattered on the pavement of the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So, you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I find myself quite lost in bibliophily. The opposite of bibliophobia. Do not be deceived into believing I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Mr. Garadab, yeah. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadab, a retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. Good one. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling there within. Betoken their social standing? I'm sorry. What does that mean? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who are not are beneath. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary!
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. It's always John. John Watson, John Garrett, John Smith. Sorry. Oh. Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. So is the maid maybe not his maid, but like somebody dressed up as a maid to give the impression he's richer than he is? Which is why she sucks at maid stuff, like, you know, cleaning and pouring the tea and all that stuff. It's like his sister or something. I don't know. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. A window tax. I actually think I might know why. Because they'd have to clean the windows or something? Is that it? Because it was so sooty? Window tax? What is that?
Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh my goodness!
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed the windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere. And in an effort to curry favour with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. Wow, if only the rich were still doing that. Instead of tax money, though, they just bribe them or whatever. Lobby, you know.
How unlawful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed. Disease was rife as a result. For some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently Mr. Natsume... Oh, like hiccuped. Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I must be off. Stay curious, fellow. Well, I believe I've told you all I can for now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? No, hold on. He's going to mispronounce it again. Here we go. Mr. Natsume, it was. I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly as who. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea.
But I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate?
Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I simply couldn't possibly ignore them.
Oh, I see.
Nevertheless, there are two facts I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us.
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something.
Mr. Garadeb is... Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he?
Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret.
Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Goodbye.
A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room.
Nice. He's just... I bid you adieu. Now to read more. Ba ba black sheep. Very interesting. Alright, let's see what's going on here. From Matt tonight. Ah, you pair again? I don't remember what his voice was. I don't remember his. I remember hers, because it's very distinct and it's also like this. It's the Queen voice from Deltarune.
Ah, you pair again? I think he was very, you know. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forgot his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is, in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what? For the upteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bully well doing?
I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you'll be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all of your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
Once again, the maid is not letting us talk to him.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garadeb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Ahem. Maybe let's not, Mr. Sato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Ahem.
Well, that would be the secret, right? Oh, hello, I'm here.
What's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes?
Aha, we meet again, my dear fellows.
Good gracious! When did you sneak in here?
Herlock Sholmes, sir. At your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? A bead of sweat, yeah. I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madame. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well...
Keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering.
Just in case Herlock Sholmes appears. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Narhodo.
Me?
I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind.
Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon.
The dance of deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. Engage me in a ballroom dance.
Do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo.
I think so.
There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Excellent. Mr. Garrideb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerable distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements.
I beg your pardon?
The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that, as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you've lost something very dear to you.
Mr. Narhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on.
How? How could you possibly? How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Here we go. The game is afoot. Nature of the beast. The beast is probably fire, if I had to guess. Seems to have a rug in front of a fireplace. Anyway, it certainly shouldn't take a great detective to say that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? He looks away, hiding the side of his face that has something on it. It's like a scar, yeah. Ah, for a man of military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrideb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts.
What is this piffle, I ask you?
In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house.
What?
Oh, it's a slap mark on his face. Okay. Yet, living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you could ever have imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much the evidence.
Well...
Yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is as plain to me with one glance in your direction.
It is?
Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show.
Ah!
Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garrideb. At Batty's Circus. A travelling show currently sojourning in the nearby park. I've observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe.
I most certainly did not.
I believe I've made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. A rampaging Asiatic lion. Now, Mr. Garrideb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for the formidable beast. Okay, hold on. Pivoting here. What if it's... Is it his wife? That caused, like, that broke a bunch of stuff and slapped him? I don't know. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage.
Nonsense, man. I simply...
But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. Yeah, because you totally feed a lion wheat and tea. And potatoes. And so you had no choice but to let it go.
Yes, well,
Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable?
The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I am not mistaken.
Oh, dearie me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact.
Whatever do you mean?
Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There is only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Totally. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. I love that they're always so wrong, but there's always like... Sorry, they're always so wrong, but there's always, like, you can see exactly where he picks up all the pieces of evidence. It's funny.
What's the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gary Deb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation?
Why certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again?
Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size?
Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense.
But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies within the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt, or worse.
Ah, that's where you're stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon.
I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Ah, my dear Mr. Salto, it occurs to me with some regularity that, irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Okay, sure.
Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling this was coming. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it.
Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo.
We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe.
Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go.
Hold it.
Alright. The lion. Certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. A fearsome beast has been on the rampage. What form might this beast take? He's looking at Joan, isn't he? Ah, for a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrideb. Your furtive glance! True nature of the beast that's run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue.
I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then?
Sorry, that was her line.
We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer.
Yeah.
What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. Oh, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there.
Gee.
The true nature of the beast that's run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride.
Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb. And well, we lament the fact her face is obscured.
We can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain.
Okay, is this wrong? Because this feels so wrong.
Oh,
Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast.
Honored might be stretching a point.
So, it's in order to make them look more like, you know, classy. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in the evidence. Well... Yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madame? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of Miss Garrideb anywhere.
Mrs.
But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. Clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be.
I wonder. Oh. Ho 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 ho. Excellent. Oh, that's funny. The moon and the sun. I didn't even realize that. He's shaped like the moon and she's got like the hair up like the sun. Yeah, it's funny.
Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
Please stop. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garrideb's bride in this photographic print.
In other words, you're no ordinary household maid.
No. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrideb yourself.
Oh my word!
well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say.
It would appear you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you're a retired army man, yet here you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct?
It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ.
Yes, here in London one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly.
You mean Mr. Garrideb has his wife work as his maid?
Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrideb?
Only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please.
The raging wife of Mr. Garrideb. Okay. Carpet gnawed by this. This one's gonna be. Now, Mr. Garrideb. It is plainly clear you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. He's like, yes. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel revealed by that supporting arm. No, it's by the slap mark.
Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrideb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable.
As a YouTuber, that also feels rather uncomfortable.
But Mrs. Garrideb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm seems to be propping up his head. Has some other significance, then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify?
My sore cheek. Oh, it's so sore from being slapped.
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek.
And, of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade, was you, Madame Joan Garrideb.
Well, yes.
She looks so proud of herself. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. This poor man. Then again.
How the blazes? How did you work that out, man?
He's got like the Kaido beard, where it's like just a diamond on his chin. Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow.
That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view.
Well,
Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a fit of rage. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Is it going to be the book? Yes, it's this pile of bills.
Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo! She's a person, not a thing! Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes. Why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question.
Bookmark? Oh no. Bookmark with kissy lips on it.
Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garrideb's clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Isada-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then.
I'm glad I went to investigate that because I was just going to present it, but I'm like, I want to know what it actually is. So the woman that got stabbed looks similar to Joan. Although I don't think Garrideb could do the stabbing, and they saw a hunched over old man. Although he does have a cane, so he would be hunched over. Oh dear. Well, that's probably how we're going to end trial day 1, right? Is we're going to accuse Garrideb, and then we're going to go from there.
Yes, it's the love note that's given rise to the pain you suffer.
Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Very simple, though. I guess it's a small bookmark. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here?
But I don't know the bully woman.
You don't know her.
That note wasn't written to me. It was just there in the book. I don't know how it got there.
It was just in there, you say?
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story.
Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained it at the time. I bought the book at a second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there.
So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean?
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story.
For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John.
A likely story.
Are you questioning my name now?
And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of a female heart, and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. Is he going to say she gnawed on it? Is she seriously going to say that? A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. I like how the thing still causes her maid, even though we know her name, and that she's not a maid. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. But surely Miss Garrideb didn't eat the carpet.
No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So, this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We need only follow Mrs. Garrideb's gaze, and that'll tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can see.
This is the only part I knew from the very beginning. Because I was like, what's on the floor over there? I thought it was like a rolled up scroll or something, like a note. No, it's a candle. She hit him with the candle. This was her weapon of choice. And then it set fire, and, we went from there. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it?
The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me as that even the slightest knock would make it tumble over.
So, no, she just knocked the table over, and the candelabra fell. Oh dear, that would be dangerous.
Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder?
Take that!
Wow. Thank goodness these people look at their crimes every time we say them.
Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick.
Ah, most illuminating, my dear fellow. And of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Get it? Illuminating because it's a candle? Huh? Look at how... I didn't even realize how, low frame rate the fire is. That's funny.
Yes, the remains of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible.
Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge certainly give the truth away.
Scorch marks?
It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation.
Mrs. Garrideb's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. They didn't, like, bump up against it. She, like, caused an earthquake. Jeez.
And in seconds, the carpet was alight. The whole corner of the room up in flames.
Yes, For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire.
And in this room, the ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok.
Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. He's gonna get up to do a breakdown.
Mr. Sholmes, sir? I salute you!
Aw. Carpet scorched by a small fire. Elementary. Elementary, my dear Mr. Garrideb. Is it going to give me the chance to pause?
It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. We'll get back to this one next time. Thank you guys so much for watching the video.
If you enjoyed, leave a like, maybe subscribe. You know, all that jazz. Jazz. Is jazz invented yet? I don't know what time period this game is set in. 18-something, early 19-something? Not sure. Regardless, there might be jazz. And if that's the case, you should probably comment jazz. Comments if you made it this far. I don't know. That was good old Herlock Sholmes. I kind of see why when like perusing this game, the Arthur Doyle estate might have been like, I don't know if you want to. We want you to call this character Sherlock Holmes. He kind of sucks, but you know, I think Herlock Sholmes fits him perfectly because he's so goofy. I don't know how this man. They were saying like, wouldn't it be kind of weird for Mr. Garrideb to fit a lion in this tiny room when he has an artillery cannon in here? And this is an upstairs room. This is the second floor. How did that get up here? They had to wheel it. They'd have to like crane it in like a piano. Anyway. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Goodbye then.